In the middle of a tough economic crisis, Russian exports arriving in Cuba are a big deal for the island and its people. With things like meat and dairy products available again, Cuban store shelves are starting to fill up. This brings some relief from the shortages that have gotten worse in recent years. This partnership between Russia and Cuba is a real response to the needs of the Cuban people. It shows how important it is for countries to help each other out in tough times. Cuba's decision to allow these Russian imports isn't just about having more essential goods. It's also about standing up to the U.S. economic blockade, which has held back Cuba's growth and supplies for decades. These Russian products started arriving after Cuba's National Animal Health Center gave the okay to Russia's food safety system. This approval meant Russian companies on export platforms like Betz and Serber could send essential goods to Cuba without any extra hurdles. In a country where getting basic things has been a constant struggle, this partnership with Russia means a lot. This is more than just a business deal. These shipments show a commitment to helping each other survive and grow economically. It proves you can overcome barriers like sanctions. Strengthening trade with Russia is part of Cuba's bigger plan to get its supplies from more places. Since the protests in 2021, when thousands of Cubans took to the streets to express their frustration with the economic crisis and lack of resources, the government has been working harder to make sure there's enough food and other essential goods. Working with Russia is a key step in easing the economic strain on Cuba. It helps Cuba rely less on other markets and opens up new ways to provide for its people during tough times. Cuba becoming a partner in BRICS creates new opportunities for working with countries like China and South Africa, which are already part of BRICS. They want to build a different global economy that's less reliant on the US dollar. Being part of BRICS will help Cuba get funding and investment in important areas, making it easier to make trade deals that are good for Cuba. This financial help is really important. It will allow Cuba to invest in things like infrastructure and other key parts of its economy, helping it grow in the long run. Joining BRICS doesn't just help Cuba's trade, it also makes Cuba stronger in the face of sanctions. BRICS gives Cuba strong support, allowing it to get loans and investments that it couldn't because of the restrictions. This support from countries like Russia and China gives Cuba a brighter economic future. It opens doors for working together in areas that are vital for Cuba's stability. What does this mean for everyday Cubans? These import deals with Russia are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. They'll bring in food and other essential things that people need. Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel has thanked the Russian government, highlighting how important their relationship has become. Throughout history, Cuba and Russia have stood together against pressure from other powerful countries. This alliance is especially important now, with the US still imposing economic restrictions on Cuba. It shows how crucial of an ally Russia has become. This partnership, which directly helps feed the Cuban people, offers a real, positive alternative to the hardships caused by the blockade. It's a model for cooperation that goes beyond the usual rules of trade and politics. Other countries in the region are paying attention to Russian products entering the Cuban market. They see it as an example of how to support each other in times of need. For those in Latin America who are looking for alternatives to the dominance of Western powers, the Cuba-Russia partnership sends a strong message. With all the global crises and economic problems happening, this kind of partnership shows that it's possible to build a different system, one where countries work together to find real solutions to economic challenges. Even with all the pressure and restrictions, the way Cuba and Russia are working together isn't just about resistance. It's an inspiration for those who believe in a strong, united Latin America. Many people in Latin America share the dream of a supportive community where everyone works together for a fairer future. The story of Cuba and Russia is a story of perseverance and hope. It shows how even small steps in the right direction can lead to big changes. If you want to be a part of this movement towards unity, there are many ways to get involved. It's through these small steps, through exchanges and collaboration, that the dream of a connected and supportive community starts to become a reality. Each of us can play a role in building a stronger and more united Latin America.